Modesty. It's a concept that transcends cultures and religions, yet its interpretation varies widely. In both Islam and Christianity, modesty holds significant spiritual value, but the way it's taught and practiced differs in fascinating ways. Most people think modesty in religion is just about clothing, but it's so much deeper. Modesty is about humility, dignity, and self-respect. In this video, we'll explore how Islamic and Christian teachings on modesty align and where they diverge. You might be surprised by what we uncover. Did you know that both religions emphasize modesty as an internal attitude before it's expressed outwardly? But why then do their outward expressions look so different? Let's break it down. To understand how modesty is taught in Islam and Christianity, we need to go back to their foundations. Islamic perspective. In Islam, modesty, known as haya, is considered a fundamental part of faith. The Quran and Hadith emphasize modesty in speech, behavior, and dress. Surah An-Nur 24:30-31 advises both men and women to lower their gaze and guard their chastity. It further instructs women to draw their veils over their bosoms and not display their beauty except to certain relatives. In early Christianity, modesty was closely tied to humility and simplicity, with an emphasis on avoiding vanity. While not as explicitly codified as in Islam, Christian modesty guidelines often reflected cultural norms of the time. Despite differences in practice, both religions view modesty as more than just clothing. It's a state of the heart. Islamic teachings. In Islam, modesty begins with the concept of taqwa, consciousness of God. Muslims are encouraged to act modestly in their interactions, avoid arrogance, and maintain humility. For example, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Every religion has its distinct characteristic, and the distinct characteristic of Islam is modesty." This internal modesty naturally extends to one's outward behavior, including dress. Christianity also ties modesty to humility, emphasizing that one's value comes from inner virtue, not outward appearances. The Apostle Paul wrote in Colossians 3:12, "Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." Christian modesty focuses on redirecting attention away from oneself and toward God, aligning personal behavior with biblical principles. Of modesty. While both religions prioritize inner modesty, their outward expressions reflect cultural and historical influences. In Islamic teachings, modest dress is more defined. The hijab is perhaps the most recognizable symbol of Islamic modesty for women, but it's not the only expression. Modesty in dress varies across cultures, from the loose-fitting abayas of the Gulf to the colorful hijabs of Southeast Asia. For men, modesty is also emphasized. Men are encouraged to wear loose-fitting clothing, avoid gold jewelry, and refrain from dressing extravagantly. Christian modesty in dress is less codified and varies greatly across denominations and cultures. In more traditional communities like the Amish or Pentecostals, women wear long dresses and head coverings as a sign of humility. One of the biggest factors shaping modesty in both religions is culture. In many Muslim-majority countries, modesty laws and cultural norms reinforce Islamic teachings. For example, countries like Saudi Arabia and Iran have legal requirements for modest dress, while others, like Indonesia and Turkey, take a more flexible approach. Today, many Muslim women express their faith through trendy, modest clothing that blends tradition with contemporary style. In Christianity, cultural interpretations of modesty have evolved significantly. Early Christians wore simple robes as a sign of humility, while medieval Christians adopted more elaborate attire reflecting their social status. In today's world, Christian modesty is often shaped by personal conviction rather than strict guidelines, leading to a wide range of practices. Both Islam and Christianity face misconceptions about modesty, often driven by stereotypes. Islam. Modesty in Islam is sometimes seen as oppressive, particularly when it comes to women's dress codes. However, many Muslim women view modesty as empowering, a choice rooted in faith rather than coercion. Christianity. Christian modesty is often misunderstood as outdated or overly conservative. Yet, for many Christians, modesty is a personal commitment to faith, not a rejection of modernity. Both encourage individuals to prioritize inner virtue over outward appearances, and both offer a countercultural alternative to the hypersexualization of modern fashion. So, while Islamic and Christian teachings on modesty differ in their practices, their essence is remarkably similar. Modesty is about dignity, humility, and living a life aligned with faith. Whether you're drawn to the structured guidelines of Islam or the broader interpretations of Christianity, modesty remains a timeless principle that transcends cultures and religions. What does modesty mean to you? Let's start a respectful conversation in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into faith, culture, and fashion. See you next time.